What it do, what it is. It's your boys, Brothers of Feather, back up in this business. How we doing tonight, boys? It's wide receiver night, 2023, top 10 wide receivers. Who would you want? We're going to roll that intro. We're going to hop right on into it.
Oh, my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, it's Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio. We are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere you download your podcast. So if you're listening to us live right now or on your commute or on the way to Baggio's Bread, we greatly appreciate the support. Your boys are back once again with Chucks, Mr. OGP, Jake, Frio, and PY. Gentlemen, how you doing? What's good?
Nothing much.
Everything hurts.
It's always the most mild manner reaction. Like, I'm trying to get their energy up. I'm trying to yo, come on, yo, what's up, man? And everyone's like,
I
mean, I'm dying. Does that help? Does that help?
But that's nothing new, though. You dying is nothing new.
Yeah, but it's worse these days.
Well, hopefully now, since they got a diagnosis, that you'll be on the mend. My wife has something similar, and now a year later, she's 30 pounds lighter and walks average 16,000 steps a day.
Wow.
So
yeah, goddamn Canadians.
oh my God.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
I can't hate on Canada. Canada's awesome. I like
Canada.
Canada.
They get me.
Canada's what?
Huh?
Canada's what?
Canada's awesome.
They gave us Justin Bieber. I can hate on them.
They have.
I don't understand the hate.
They have their good or their bad.
I don't understand the hate that Canada gets. I love Canada.
You
ever visited?
I don't have a problem with Canada,
awesome.
but
I mean, they did have a crackhead mayor for a while.
They had a lot of other great things, though.
No, he was my favorite. He was my favorite.
I don't know if it still is, but the mall in Edmonton, I went there when I was 12 or 13. The mall in Edmonton used to be the largest mall in the world. Oh man, that mall was great. It was fantastic.
I'm pretty sure they have a lot of largest indoor things because it's fucking cold all the time.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar brought 4,000 acres for $20,000.
Farmland.
People always say how it's cheaper there, but not necessarily. Out on the west side of Canada, I know it is pretty expensive.
Vancouver is very progressive.
I have relatives back over in Vancouver, and yeah, everything there is expensive. They say, but it's super nice there too, though. So I gotta go visit them one day.
I just learned something about Martian today. He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian. Okay. Good to know.
Oh shoot!
So it's not Martian. It's Martian.
Martian. I got you, man. Love Canada. Anyways, got another fun show for you. We continue our positional rankings for the summer. We will dive into our 2023 wide receiver rankings. This is going to be fun. Wide receivers. It's going to be I know it's going to be so diverse in terms of what we have listed because there's just so many good ones. So it should leave for a lot of debate and conversation. So I'm definitely excited about that. And then second half, we will talk about No Huddle, which we will definitely dive into because The Flash came out, aka Michael Keaton's Batman sequel. So I saw it earlier today. So I'll give my non-spoiler review to anyone that wants to hear it. But yeah, we'll talk about that and other stuff in No Huddle, especially with NBA and NHL wrapping up their seasons with the champions being crowned. So we'll talk about a bunch of other stuff in No Huddle.
Still win a title before the Flyers.
God, I don't want to. Another former player hiring today. What a surprise! So, but before we get into the first half of the show, it is brought to you by Alonzi Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you. That would be me and your boy Andy over here at A2D Radio. So hit us up. We got Disney just released new vacation packages for Christmas time. You get 35% off, up to 35% off select hotel rooms if you are a Disney Plus subscriber, which I can't imagine anyone's not a Disney Plus subscriber. So you get a discount off select rooms. So hit me up if you're interested on spending holidays in Disney. So our poll question for tonight, guys, which again, we will answer organically as we do the rankings, as we have been. But the poll question is, again, someone did it as a ticker, so now I can't see. But now it's at the bottom, so if you want to read it at the bottom, A.J. Brown is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Agree or disagree? Let us know what you think. Where would you rank him? He had arguably the best season of his career so far. So where's he at? We will answer that and we will find out. So let's get to it, guys.
You need like a sound graphic or like the explosions or
Something, yeah.
Right? We need. Well, let's get someone to work on that. We'll get some kind of graphic or special thing going on. All right, guys. So here we go. Again, I am assuming PY you did not divide yours into tiers because you never do.
How do you know? You're making assumptions.
No tiers, right?
No tiers.
Jake, I'm talking to Jake.
No, I did not.
Okay, and then Pete, no tiers.
Make a decision, sir. Just make a decision.
All right, so I'm the only one to do tiers, which is fine. Hey, which is fine. I just like to be more descriptive, but that's perfectly fine.
You can't draft players off of tiers. You have to.
You can be fair and say this group of players is closer to each other than the next group of players. That's that's why I have.
You're just trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, exactly. and that's perfectly fine. You do know that teams, when they do the drafts, they do their big boards in tiers. So if you're criticizing the way I do it, you're criticizing 32 organizations in the NFL.
That's fine.
I'm just saying.
They're stupid. There you go.
But of course, PY knows all, right?
No, I mean, you're acting as if not Jake and Pete aren't laughing at your silly tiers.
I just said it's fine if you don't have tiers. They don't make comments. You're the only one that made comments about tiers.
Because you ask it this shit every week, and you know we're not doing tiers.
Because I'm oh my God, I'm not gonna get into this. Because the one God forbid, the 1 week I don't ask you guys, you would have the tiers and be like, hey, you didn't ask us this. No,
you know what? I'm actually gonna orchestrate.
I'm gonna be a gentleman and be courteous as the host I am, and ask you guys every week just to be sure if you have tiers, because I'm nice like that. So, anyways, before PY rudely interrupted me, Mr. PY, since you're in a criticizing mood this evening, why don't you start us off then? How many wide receivers did you rank?
I did
10. Okay, Jake, you did
10.
10, and then Pete, I know you did 10. All right, so
I actually know. See, here you go. You talking about you was courteous.
See, that's my bad. That's my bad. Yeah, see, I assumed that's my fault. Even though you said it, even though the reason why I said that is because in the chat you said you're doing 10. So
I end up doing 13 for a specific reason. Just
sweet. Okay.
I'm trying to piss off a certain fan base.
Nice.
There we go. This is why
I like it. Okay, so since
fan base.
PY and Jake, since you only have 10, and then I have 14, Pete has 13. We'll start off then with me, so that I can say, since I have the most, I'll lead it off.
Proceed.
At my 14, I wrote it down here. 14.
Actually, I have 14 now.
You have 14. Okay. Do you want to start off then, or do you want me to?
You're fine.
Okay. 14, I have Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson at 14.
Okay.
Any of you have him ranked?
I do. I have him now ranked at 15.
15.
No.
Okay. Jake, no.
No, I do not.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Why are you scoffing? Like he was really good last year.
Is he a top 10? Like really?
Do I have him at 10?
Oh, 14. I'm sorry.
Pete, sometimes I try to save you, PY.
I do. I okay.
I
So I'm so out of it. Holy fuck! I'm sorry, Chucks. You were right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I apologize. Oh my god. Holy fuck!
I needed
just
that.
a real quick. I don't want to be too long, but Garrett Wilson, I was very impressed with his rookie season. Despite not having a great QB all year, he put up good enough numbers, obviously, to win Rookie of the Year. So he did outstanding, very impressive. He would be higher on my list, obviously, but he was only doing it as a rookie. So I have to, be fair in terms of, consistency, throughout year in and year out. But the arrows pointing up. Garrett Wilson, very impressive. I really, really like his game. He does remind me, Pete, I don't know if you and I had like similar comps, but Garrett Wilson coming out of the draft, I had him. He reminded me of Stephon Diggs a lot. So I think his game is very similar. So I'm very, very excited to see where he goes here on out, especially with Aaron Rodgers now as his QB. Some stability there with the Jets, hopefully, will even help him progress in his sophomore year. Pete, who do you have then at 14?
One Mr. Metcalf.
DK.
Okay.
Nice. Anyone have him ranked?
I do not.
No.
No. Okay. Pete, any quick bites you want to give on him?
I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, you try to tell me you're going to take 13 or 16 other wide receivers over him on your team if it's just a body contest and his body of work in the league with his hands. Still, would I like his hands to be better? Yes. Still an athletic freak? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's 14 on this list.
Yeah. I think with DK, the way you sum him up is like he is so good at what he does, running vertical routes and anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is he's limited in that regard. Like that's all, he can't run everything. You know what I mean? Like he's not someone who's going to beat you on a full route tree. So he does have his limitations, and that's why I think that I don't know if he'll ever be like a top 5 or 6, but man, he's so good at what he does. It's hard to not have him. I think I had him right outside my top 14. He's in the next tier. So I like DK Metcalf a lot.
And fam, just to let you guys know, when you're watching the show, when you catch it on the audio version, wherever you stream your audio podcast, the preface for these rankings is what 2023 wide receiver we would want in the list to help us win.
Yep.
Regardless of scheme, just skill set alone. And this is how we came up with our rankings.
Yeah.
This is how we were supposed to.
Yeah. It's sure. And it's only, and just like we did last week with the QBs, this is only for 2023. This is not like long term. This is for one season, the 2023 season. And this is like what Pete was alluding to, how we would take them outside of the team, outside of the situation, how they are just as individuals. Now, with wide receivers, and I think we've all discussed this before, it's a little tough because there are so many different styles and molds of a wide receiver. Like, how do you compare a guy who plays in the slot primarily to a guy that plays outside as X primarily? Which one is more important to a certain team? A team that runs an air raid offense is going to have more priority over a certain skill set over a team that does West Coast offense. You get what I'm saying? So it's very tough. That's what makes variance in wide receiver rankings what it is, because you're looking for so many different things. But that's why it's at least for good conversation. And so I do anticipate a lot of variance in these rankings as we move forward. Some of the people in the chat, let's get to it before we move on. Philly Sports with Bake, who said he's been waiting for this episode to come out. He puts Rager at 1. Just kidding. All love, Chucks. Justin Jefferson at 1. Tyreek Hill at 2. 3 Davante Adams. 4 Chase. 5 Cup. 6 Diggs. 7 Hopkins. 8 AJ. 9 CD. And 10 Garrett Wilson. Might be a hot take. So he does have Garrett Wilson at 10 PY.
Someone's baking.
That's someone there. He says disagree, but top 10. And Martian says, speaking of tears, is Debo still crying? I think he is.
Probably.
That whole team is crying. They're a bunch of losers from their head coach to their owners to their general manager, all the way down to the kicker.
So he also says Smitty might be top 15 at the end of next year. We'll see. Pete either gonna piss off Debo or CD. I can feel it. Wilson says, "What's up, boys? He might be like 6'7", but as an Eagle fan, yes, I agree. He's 5th. LOL." Marshall says, "Do I have him at 10?" Philly sports. I do think Lockett is the most underrated.
Try again.
Underrated wide receiver in the NFL. He absolutely is up there.
I love Tyler Lockett.
Underrated. I can't talk. Can't say underrated.
That underrated is giving you a fit.
Right now.
You know what's underrated? Chuck's talking about underrated wide receivers.
Oh, that's a compliment. But I do love Lockett. I've always loved Lockett, so I do agree with that comment.
That would be a good top 10 list.
His top 5 would be Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and AJ Brown. Hashem La Familia, what's up? And then Wilson also finishes up with saying Davante should probably be 5, but I'll go AJ as an Eagles fan. Martin says underrated throwing hands at Chucks right now. All right. So Pete, why don't you do 13? We'll go we'll do like a snake format until we get to 10.
Debo Samuel.
Debo
at 13.
Compared to
the best wide receiver on his fucking team
for the year he had last year, yeah, it's tough to argue. But
he's not. Did you guys have Debo ranked?
Yes,
you did.
I did too.
You did.
Yes.
Okay, Jake, where did you have him?
I had him at 8.
Why? Where did you have him?
9.
Okay.
Guess what, guys?
Oh.
I did not have him ranked.
Really?
Really?
He is. If you want me, remember I did 20. If
Right.
you want me to know where I have him, on my other phone, he is at 16.
Okay.
Okay, so he's at 16, and then next year, you know who's at 15?
Who?
Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk is better than him. Brandon Ayuk is better than him. So I have Ayuk at 15, right outside of this. But Pete, you are almost as low on him as me. Why do you have him at 13? No, I'm going to frame it this way too. Why do you have him lower than Jake and PY? Like, what is it that you think?
Because
yeah,
he does, like we talked about with Metcalf, right? Metcalf does one thing at a very elite level. I will give Debo that. Once he gets the ball in his hands, his run after the catch ability and his playmaking ability and hard to bring down, that is at an elite level. However, his route running is not what you think it is. He's in Kyle Shanahan's system. And a lot of times, if you go watch tape, go watch how he creates Debo to be open, and IU creates a lot of shit on his own.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Because I'll just say it because I don't think anybody else has Ayuk ranked as high as me. Ayuk is number 12.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I'll put him in then. Yeah. So it's funny. You have them right next to each other, just like I do. I have them right next to each other. It's just that I have them a couple spots behind. So we see them. I think we are in agreement. I think I agree with everything you said, Pete, but I will also go further in saying Debo's play style leads him to be hurt as much as he is.
Mm-hmm.
So the injury factor becomes a part in this. Like, there's a reason he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Now, I love the way he plays because you guys know, obviously, as a running back fan that I am,
right,
his style of play is so much fun to watch. And he used to be my favorite wide receiver that I used to love in terms of just watching. But especially last year, having the down year he had and seeing IU kind of take that next step in his development, there's no doubt in my mind Ayuk is better than Debo Samuel right now. He just is.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake and PY, why do you have him as high as you do? What is it that you like that we do not see.
With me, I value position versatility a lot, just like what he's able to do as far as like when they put him at the running back position or what they do playing him at wide receiver. He can get you in so many different dimensions and different ways on the field. To me, I value that more than anything. That's why I have him ranked as high as I do. I understand the fact rather that he didn't have a great year last year compared to the year he had prior, but I still expect him to have a good year in 2023.
PY, anything to add?
He's just an explosive game changer. Like, he can single-handedly change what's going on in the game at the drop of a hat. You can put him at wide. Sorry. You can put him at wide receiver.
Right on cue, bitch.
Put him on the outside. You can put him in slot. You can put him as running back. Yes, exactly. That's exactly why I put it.
Yeah, his position, as he called it, a wide back.
I mean, that's exactly what he is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of cost him a little bit in the beginning, but
I bet SJM there were some wide backs at that jug handle end bit.
oh, you mean the redneck in?
Yeah, he's just, so SJM says, nice to see Pete Evans and PY. I was at the Jug Handle Inn last Friday, dude. Pensauken's esteemed watering hole. I must admit, you were right. The clientele there is unique.
There's literally a sign when you walk in and you look at it and you're just like, what type of place is this? if you know the sign I'm talking about, I took one of my best friends there one time because I had never been there before. And he just looked at me. He's like, what the hell? I went there twice. And after that, I'm just like, I'm never coming here again. It's creepy. Everyone's like rednecky as hell. And the food's shit.
Oh, I mean, it is Pensauken, to be fair. It is Pensauken.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to rip off my next two to move on. 13, Mr. Consistent, and it'll suck if he doesn't reach 1,000 yards this season for the first time in his long career. But I can't not mention him.
Right.
He's Mr. Consistent. He just there's no way you can't. You have to give him his props. He's just that. He's consistent, you know, and I just love the way he plays. So, I hope he reaches 1,000 again, but that quarterback situation is not.
It's so bad.
It looks so bad.
It's so bad.
But again, we're trying to do this outside of team situation. He's still as good as he has been. So that's Mike Evans. And then 13. 12. I'm sorry. 12. I've got someone who could end up being higher this time next year. It's DJ Moore.
Okay.
Because I know that we're talking about someone who could take a step, trying to take this outside of situation. But I also think that he can now work on some things in his game that has been inconsistent. Now that he's in Chicago, that offense could be more stable than what he's had in Carolina. Because in Carolina, the QB play has been so up and down. So what happened? Some breaking news?
No, I mean, it's breaking news, but it's not good news. Ray Lewis III, son of Pro Football legend Ray Lewis, dies at 28 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's sad.
I didn't see that.
Wow. Does it say why?
I didn't tap into it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about it yet. I saw it earlier. I was going to bring that up on No Huddle.
That's crazy. Wow. Prayers up to him and his family. That's
100%.
That's so sad. All right. So, DJ Moore. I'm assuming, did either of you have them ranked? Mike Evans?
No, you bring up good points. He was on notable mentions for me.
Okay.
I had him at 11 in my top 10.
Who, DJ or Mike Evans?
Mike Evans. I'm sorry.
Evans, gotcha. Okay. So right outside. Yeah, it's hard not to give him his props.
Damn boy.
Yeah, 11. So I'll go with 11, and then Pete, you go with your 11. But number 11, someone who's like he's so close. Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle is so good.
That's a good one too.
I completely forgot about him.
So did I.
Yeah. So good. He an awesome compliment to Tyreek in the sense that not that they differ in styles, but they're just both insanely fast. So like you pick your poison if you're a defense. Are you gonna deal with Tyreek, who is one of the best wide receivers in the league, or are you going to go to deal with Jalen Waddle? Like, so he's so good, and the arrow's pointing up for Waddle. SJM says Debo is a stud. The issue I have with him is inside the top 10. He hasn't yet consistently taken over more than a few games in a year. Doesn't present the same dynamic Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle do just yet. Yeah, and he also says some of it has to do with Shanahan, how Shanahan deploys him. And then Flea Sports with Big says there are honestly so many great wide receivers now. It's insane. There are.
Yep.
Like it's
There's
such a loaded position. That's why it's hard to narrow it down. All right, Pete. Or did you guys have Waddle?
No.
I completely forgot about Waddle. Okay. I completely forgot about him.
All right, Pete. Who do you have at 11 then?
At 11, Scary Terry.
Really?
Okay. I do like that. I like that.
Interesting.
Jake, do you have him right?
I do not.
PY, do you have him right?
I do.
Where?
I have him at 8.
8.
Like he's just so good and he's consistent. Like, and he's had like crappy quarterbacks the last few years, and he still gets it done.
You want to talk about a guy that's underrated?
Yeah,
Terry McLaurin's probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL.
I have him at 9. I have him.
Okay.
I've always liked Terry McLaurin so much. So I have him at 9. Yeah, like you guys said, you just the outside. If you're looking at outside of the quarterback position, he's just so freaking good.
Yep.
So freaking good what he does.
He's Silva Smook himself, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we all have him in similar range. So I think we're all pretty much in agreement with Scary Terry. I wanted him to be free of Washington, but apparently that's not going to be the case.
No.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks to see him waste his career there in Washington, but he's still awesome regardless. Awesome. All right. We're now in the 10s. So top 10 now. We broke it into. Fam, please continue. If you're listening, continue to give us your rankings, what you think. Definitely join the conversation. But PY, you're number 10. What you got?
The Slim Reaper.
Davante.
Exactly. Like have some self-control over there. Like whisper. You can't scream because you scream.
I'm trying. I can't. He deserves my voice, even if I freaking lose it.
Oh, God. Jake, do you have him right?
I have him 9.
9.
Just great.
Pete, you're right.
He was right behind Garrett Wilson for me.
Oh, so he's outside. He's outside.
Right. The reason is because of the fact. I know. Well, this makes sure because Garrett Wilson, he was it. He was the guy. Not saying Davante's not the guy, but Davante definitely benefits from having AJ on the other side. And I say that just from I don't know if you put the roles are reversed, if Davante has the same season that Garrett has.
Okay.
If he's on the Jets and there's nothing else there. So head to head, I just think that because of the size, there are similarities between the two. I just like Wilson just a tad bit better.
Wilson's much more shifty.
It's tough to say, but like I feel like when you take Davante's 2021, consider the type of or how bad the offense was.
Yeah,
how bad Prince was, and Davante still almost managed to get. Did he get 1,000 or no?
He almost got 1,000.
Almost got 1,000. And then seeing how he was able to make plays like consistently this year, the type of plays he's made, that doesn't worry me as much. I can understand where you're coming from, but for me, I watch him play and grow, and I am super confident he can be a number 1 and still produce.
Yeah,
I had him.
You said he almost had 1,000. Garrett Wilson had absolutely dog shit and had 1,100. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but they also weren't a run first offense.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, remember that first half of 2021?
Yeah.
Like we barely I don't know what we were doing
because we spent most of the time throwing the Rager.
It was it's one of those things where it's hard. It's hard because the numbers do kind of support Pete's, but it's where like I'm not so much trusting the numbers. I'm trusting what I've seen, And I see Davante have that capability. So
I just need Garrett Wilson to do something with that perm, bitch.
I put him at 8. I had him at 8.
Okay.
So I had him higher than any of us. So I think that it's just, again, I have him in the same tier as as these other guys. It's really hard for me to differentiate, but Davante, if I were to pick, I would have him at 8. When you watch him play, I don't know how you don't see a number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, 100%.
His body control to me is already elite and one of the top in the game. Like, it's insane. His body control, his ability to toe tap catches, to be able to contort his body at the catch point to adjust to off target throws is absolutely insane. His ball skills, his hands, like he's got better. I don't think anyone of us would disagree, but he's got better hands than AJ Brown. He's got better hands than AJ Brown, and I think he's got higher potential than AJ Brown.
I was just gonna say, I'll raise you one better.
So I already think, seeing what he's done this past year, I am perfectly comfortable putting it at number 8.
Yeah,
personally.
And I'm kind of anticipating a big jump for him this year too, based off the jump he had last year, because he has a kid on the way. That helps him focus a lot more. And 2, he's going to be entering a contract year. So, not saying that he's been terrible like some other players who were terrible or not terrible. I shouldn't say terrible, but they're just like okay. But then when it's contract time, they ball out. Davante's balling out since he's gotten here, and I anticipate him to get better. And to build off of what Chuck says, I think in the long run, and it might be even next year, he's going to be better. If not already, he's better than AJ Brown. Like everyone's going to obviously debate because like AJ makes the big flashy plays and all that, but Davante's just you throw his way, he's going to get it.
Yeah.
But remember, he's too tiny.
Yeah, he's too small.
Too small, right? Too small.
I'll always remember watching the Cowboys game for Christmas and just watching Davante just go up and body someone in the end zone. And my brother, who does not watch sports, he's like, who the hell is that tiny guy catching passes? He's like, he's really good.
He's so good.
He's so good.
If my brother can pick up on it, that tells you all you need to know.
And that's another thing, too. He kills the Cowboys, and I love it.
Yeah, you're right.
He always plays well against Dallas. I love it.
Oh, my God. Reaper. Oh, my God. All right. Jake, 10.
C.D. Lamb.
Ew. Jake is disqualified immediately.
You have him right.
Higher than that.
Yeah, where?
8.
Okay.
PY, where do you have him ranked?
Yeah.
I have him at 10.
Okay.
Yep. I have him at 10. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's a guy in open space. He's a problem. You can, even going back to college, you can lose him in a phone booth. He's reliable. He's Dallas's top receiver. Obviously, to get the honor of 88, you have to ball out, and he's done that his entire career. Even though he's on a team that I extremely despise, I have to give the guy his flowers because he's a fantastic wide receiver.
Yeah, he is a fantastic wide receiver. Pete, you have him higher than any of us. What is it that you see that makes you apparently rank him leaps and bounds over DeVonta Smith? So I don't know if I could say that I agree to that. So make your case for why.
His route running, it's almost like he's walking through it. What I mean by that is it looks effortless at times.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't look like he's just out there like almost playground football. The way he gets in and out of his breaks, we've seen it the second game against the Eagles. I mean, it had him in the blender. Didn't know what to do. And then honestly, I think somewhat Kansas City saw that and used that to implement us against in the Super Bowl because that changed the direction. And he doesn't need that much space. If you give him just a quarter of an inch, he's going now. What I would like him to have top end speed, more so. I have him over Smitty from the fact that, not saying Smitty can't do all those things, but once again, I like CD coming out of college more than I like DeVonta. That's just me. So
I didn't, but it was close.
You see what I'm saying? So, and then also, once again, when I look at where I can implement, if I'm just drafting wide receivers and I'm just taking a look, okay, this is it. I would take personally CD over DeVonta. That's just me. You can kill me, whatever it is. That's just me. Okay. But it's for those reasons of where I see him, and he could take a hit. I'm not saying DeVonta can't take a hit, but also I still think CD has room to grow. And honestly, on some real shit, he had way more pressure on him than DeVonta did.
Yeah, yep.
Way more. Mm-hmm. And he's lived up to it. So, and he's exceeded some.
I think that, well, hold on. Let me get to some comments. Philly Sports with Big says, honestly, guys, since they both got drafted in 2021, do you extend Smitty or Dickerson?
Both.
Does Smitty have the extra year for being a first pick?
Yeah.
Smitty does. You can sign both. You're signing both.
Yeah, you're definitely
I'll
signing
put it
both.
that way. But Marquis says top 5 is easily Adams, Jefferson, Hill, Chase, and Brown, in my opinion. SJM says, I'm with you, Marquis. 100%, not even close. Martian says CD over Smitty. That's a no for me, dog. And then Philly says, I will say CD seems to have issues with drops on the easy catches.
Yeah, it's concentration. That's the issue
says,
sometimes.
Only issue with PY. Only issue PY with Lamb is he exclusively using the slot, never lines up outside. And then Molly Mall does say
Molly Mall.
Yeah. This is a point I was going to make. Lamb is best in slot.
Yeah.
He's not as good against press. And that's, remember, beginning of the year last year, there were issues early in the year. He struggled. Now he corrected himself, he got better, and he had a monster year. So I'm not taking it away. I'm saying that a lot of the reason why he had issues because of press. So with DeVonta, we've seen him against press as well. And in his rookie year, even though he had his own issues too, I think DeVonta has shown he's better at press and at lining up at different spots in the formation than Lamb. Mm-hmm. I also think DeVonta has better hands. He's more athletic. I think DeVonta is, of course, better body control, like I said. So I think it's close. I don't mind anyone picking Lamb over DeVonta. What I will disagree with adamantly, Pete, is you having the disparity that much. You have Lamb at 8.
Actually, you know what? I mean, it's not really that much. I forgot about DeVonta. I mean, it's too many fucking good wide receivers, man.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. But like, so if you're seeing your ranking, this is again.
I had to speak to something because I got it up there on the board.
But yeah, that's the only thing that I would say is like I wouldn't put the gap as huge as you seem to have it based on what your rankings are so far. Because you just said Smitty.
Marquise mentioned another one I fucking forgot. Jesus Christmas.
Another top wide receiver I'm shot down to C so far is T Higgins. He just missed it. Like he's in that next tier for me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, there are so many, so I understand.
Yes, Martian, I forgot DeVonta. Shit. Go eat some poutine, bitch.
Oh my god. All right, then who do you have at your 10 and your 9?
For me, I have to my list. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 10.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, okay. So talk about him first. You have him really high. I mean, Dig, do you have him ranked?
I do not.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're much higher on Amon-Ra than us. So make your case.
Second best slot receiver in the league. Well, third best. Behind CD, behind somebody else that hasn't been mentioned yet. I'll give it to St. Brown. And it really came out of nowhere. Didn't come in the league as a top end pick. But I mean, he had 106 receptions last year. I think that's only going to get more because now the compliment that he has. But he's proven he makes these tough catches. Not a burner, but can get open in the slot. And I mean, dude, like it was tough between him and Terry because I think Terry's route running is better, but I think St. Brown's explosiveness is slightly more. But that was tough. That was really splitting hairs for me.
Amon-Ra I like a lot, but he's a slot only guy. So it's like, how do I put a slot only above some of the guys that I have that can be moved around and still have success on the spots? That's the thing. And there's a distinction between a slot only player and a best in slot. We have a lot of guys here who are going to be ranked who are best in slot. You know what I mean? But they can play on the outside. They're just like the prime example is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp a year ago was looked at as by a lot, not me, but a lot of people had him at number 1 because of the year he had, the Triple Crown. But he was best in slot. Amon-Ra is slot only. So that distinction is why I can't have him above who I have, but he's there. He's right behind there. So I get it. I love the way he plays. Him and Jameson Williams are going to be a great duo. Great.
And Marvin Jones is back there now too.
Marvin Jones back there to help. Yeah. Jake and PY, did you have anything to add to Amon-Ra? Like, what do you see that you're not as high on?
It's just like you said. It's that he's predominantly in the slot. That's the big thing. But he doesn't take away from the fact he's a fantastic young wide receiver.
He's really good.
He's only 23, which blows my mind. He's only 23 years old, and he's so good.
Yep. Yeah. Some comments said, SJM says OJP had short-term memory loss from the Kush during his lab session. Philly Sports says, remember when Michael Thomas was top 10? Good time, Slam Boy. I remember when so many people put Michael Thomas as number 1, and I was just like, okay.
Fantasy value he was for a little bit.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Michael Thomas was literally Marcus Colston minus longevity and was drafted higher.
Yeah.
Marquise Graham says, same. Brown definitely is a baller in Detroit after last year's shot. He was killing the Eagles. Yeah. All right. So who do you have at 9, Pete?
Currently, he is a free agent, but DeAndre
Hopkins. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I love D-Hop. Anyone have him ranked?
I do not.
Okay. I don't have either. So you're that much faithful. You're still that hopeful.
You see them fucking hands? Yes.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
The only issue, like, for me is availability. That's the biggest thing for me. But I think also part of that last year too is he just wanted out of Arizona. I think that's
there's that and the PEDs.
Well, that too. I did forget about that.
Yeah. I've always loved D-Hop.
Same.
So it hurts me that he's in my tier 4 with a bunch of other guys I already mentioned, but like I need to see it. But yeah, I love D-Hop. I still do. I'm excited to see where he signs.
Yeah.
It should be fun. All right. So Jake, let's go to you then. Who do you have at number 7 as we all get into our top 7?
Mr. Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. PY? Yeah,
that's who I have. Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Pete?
Where do I have Cooper Kupp, or do I have at 7?
Do you have him at all?
No, of course.
Okay, where do you have him?
He's 6.
6. Okay. I have him also at 7. So we're all pretty much in agreement. So then, Jake, since you mentioned him, go ahead. Let's do this. Let's talk about this, guys. If you now be honest, because I know that you guys were on last year when me and Pete did this exercise. I think. Pete, where did you have him last year? Do you remember?
I think he was.
I think I had him around that too. I think I had 3 or 4.
I think he was 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay. Yeah, I think I had him just slightly higher. I think I had him at like 3 or 4. Jake, if you had to rank him last year, where did you honestly rank him last year?
Last year, probably like 3 or 4 around there. 3 or 4.
PY, where did you rank him?
Probably have him at 3.
Okay, so we all had him in the similar range. Now he drops to 7. Is it injury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so much injury for me; it's age too.
Mm-hmm.
He's 30 now, and I honestly think the players I have in front of him have taken a step forward. I think the one I have behind him is very splittable.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but Cooper, man, is this? Gotta give him his props, bro.
Yeah.
Like his stats last year through 9 games, which had 75 catches, 812 yards, 912 yards, 812 yards, something like that.
812, yeah.
I mean, if we look at AJ's stat line, he had 88 catches for a whole season, obviously 1,496 yards, but Coop had that in 9 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, he missed half the season.
That system really is tailored for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, like Sean McVay. So, not taking away from him because, like, outside of the system, he's still super talented. Underrated athleticism.
Yep.
Great route runner. So, I think that the drop off was injury. Also, like, I think it's similar to what you said, Pete. With him being 30, if I'm going to take him moving forward, 2023, I don't know if there's much more room to grow. Like, I think he's hit what he has, and a lot of the players that are ahead of him, I think they're still in their prime or on the way up. So I agree with that. It's crazy. Anyone else surprised that he's 30 already?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't think he was that old either.
Yeah,
crazy, right? Like,
was he a fifth year at Michigan State or Eastern Washington?
Remember.
I'm sorry,
he may have been a 5th year guy.
Yeah, he might have been.
I don't remember.
Year.
Yeah. Philly
or at least a
Sports
senior when he came out.
Philly Sports says Cup also basically the Rams' only weapon unless you want to go Higbee. Yeah, like he's main weapon there, so they're going to feed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to add for Cup?
No, just hopefully he stays healthy this year.
Same.
Yep. Okay, Pete, since you have a gap at 7, who you got at 7?
Stephon.
Really? Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's like splitting hairs. My top 5 was set. My top 5 was set.
Okay.
So,
my top 3 was set. Jake, who do you have at? I mean, I'm assuming Diggs is there. Where do you have him right?
probably 6.
I have him 4.
4. Wow.
Yeah, I have him 4.
I'm at 6.
You have some people behind.
This is where This is where the list is going to get weird.
Where do you have him ranked?
6.
6.
Haters.
Stephon Diggs. I have him also at 6. Okay, Pete, lead it off then. You're lowest on him.
Remember, I don't know if you want to leave with me because there's a point between him and Cooper Kupp. It's that close.
It's that close. Okay. So Jake, then you're the highest on him.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
He's just he's just he's reliable. He's a fantastic playmaker. He's in my opinion, he's one of the top playmakers in football. Hence, where I have him ranked. I mean, the past 2 years he's had 20 plus touchdowns, nearly 3,000 yards. Since I want to say 2018, he's been one of the best receivers in football for a long, long time, and he's consistent and just his hands are reliable. Now, again, I get he's not an issue off the field. He's kind of a quote unquote diva, however you want to define that. That's up to you, but it's just he's reliable. Just on the field, he's reliable. He's a captain, so that's important. But yeah, that's the big thing. He's just a big time playmaker, and he's benefited Josh Allen's career tremendously.
I want to do this. Ready?
Okay.
Because I want to see who you have behind him. So
okay,
Jake, who's at 6?
Who's at 6? Arthur Juan Brown. Arthur Juan Brown.
Why? Where's AJ Brown for you?
5.
Pete.
5.
I have him at the top of my tier 2. I am at 4. Jake, who's at your 5?
Who's at 5?
Yeah.
Mr. Tyreek Hill.
Oh my
Really?
Yep.
god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I knew people were going to have an issue with that one. I had to throw that in there.
PY, where's Tyreek for you?
4.
Pete, where do you have Tyreek?
Trace.
Oh man, Pete's
I'm-
top 3's got to be top 2. I got to be spicy.
I don't know if I should reveal where I have him yet.
You have him
Should.
too.
You have to.
Do you want me to? You want
Yes.
me to?
He's gonna put him number 1.
Guys, he's been my number 1 for years.
Yeah, I
I
figured.
mean, it's not. He hasn't. He's not number 1. He's not number
Okay.
1.
See, that's why I like this list,
Okay,
right? Because
so-
everyone has their
Yeah,
own.
So you have Diggs ahead of AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill. Now, Stephon Diggs, if you're looking at, let's just take a quick glance at numbers because you might have a case. Stephon Diggs last year, 108 catches, 1,429 yards, 13.2 average with 11 touchdowns, right?
Mhm.
You got AJ Brown. He had 88 catches, 1,496 with 11 touchdowns as well. So they're right. They're really
there.
really close to each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have Diggs ahead of him by 2 spots. I have AJ Brown ahead of Diggs with 2 spots. Pete's got AJ Brown ahead of Diggs by 2 spots. PY's got him by a little bit. And then you have him above Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, I'm going to look up his stats. Okay. Tyreek Hill last year,
He had his best year last year.
119 catches, 1,710 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And for anyone who was going to say that last year, remember, everyone said, oh, he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be a down year.
Nope.
Yeah, he completely show how that's a bunch of baloney. Bunch of baloney. Now, I'm going to catch Pete for having my number 1, but as Pete will attest, Pete, how long have I had Tyreek Hill at number 1 now?
A minute.
Yeah, I've had him at
Yeah,
number
you've had him
1
there for a
for
while.
at least 2 years. So him having that big of a year, I can't have him relinquish it. But what is it, Jake? I want to know your take here. What is it? Because to me, the biggest shock here is having him ahead of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
What is it that you see that you would have Diggs over Tyreek?
Again, I think it's just, and again, they've both been doing it for a long period of time. I think having Jalen Waddle helps him tremendously. Not saying that Tyreek Hill can't do it on his own, but I think that's a factor in and of itself to where Stephon Diggs doesn't have that level of wide receiver next to him. Now, don't get me wrong. Gabe Davis he's good, but he's not a Jalen Waddle. I think if Stephon Diggs had a Jalen Waddle next to him, he would put up similar numbers to Tyreek Hill. But just they're both fantastic wide receivers at the end of the day. But I think having Jalen Waddle next to him helps him just that much more.
PY, do you have anything to add? I guess not. All right, Pete.
No,
what
I
do you have?
shook my head.
There's nobody on this list. When we talk about
Pure speed.
pure speed at what they do, and they take their best attribute and they do it at an elite level, they can't. And so even I can see why Chucks has a number 1. But with that being said, I also think that for me, he's not as well rounded as the other 2 wide receivers I have ranked in front of him.
Which is fair. Fair.
So, but I mean, that's bold. That's bold.
I think. See,
that's
I can
bold,
see.
Jacob. That
I
is
can
bold,
see
Jacob.
a case. I can see a case for the other 2. I can't see a case for Diggs over him. I just can't. There's with Tyreek, and if I'll get into it now before we reveal the top 3. But with Tyreek, I'm pretty sure he is the fastest offensive player that has ever played the game. Ever. The fastest player, at least I've ever seen. I started watching football adamantly in 2000, and in the 23 years I've watched football adamantly like that, focused. I've never seen an offensive player as fast as him.
Devin Hester.
And, huh?
Is it Devin Hester?
I think he was faster than Hester.
He is Olympic track speed.
Yeah.
It's
that can actually fucking catch.
Right.
And with Tyreek, like you can just tell, like it's your point, Jake, with he has Waddle, so that kind of helps. I think that's also not fair because he's still the number one. And with the Chiefs, there were defenses game planned for Hill over Kelsey.
Right.
They remember what the Bucs did in the Super Bowl. The Bucs, they like double, triple covered Tyreek Hill and said, beat us underneath with Kelsey, and they couldn't. There are defenses that will alter their game plan just because of Tyreek Hill. And even when they do, they oftentimes cannot stop him. You know what he's doing, but oftentimes you cannot stop him. And what I mean is you can take away the deep ball. But what we saw 2 years ago, you take away the deep ball, Tyreek Hill is an underrated route runner and hands catcher.
Oh, yeah.
Like this whole notion that he's just a speed guy. He can't run routes and he doesn't have great hands. That is such a crock of baloney. And like we've seen that because now 2 years, we've seen him excel in the short and intermediate or short and intermediate game of the offense. And when he gets the ball in his hands, there's no one more dangerous than Tyreek Hill. And I prioritize that. I think route running and hands are two of the biggest traits you can have as a wide receiver, two of the most important, except when you have otherworldly athletic ability like Tyreek Hill. When you are that athletically gifted, where it's generational speed and explosiveness, that trumps everything because you can do on the football field something that no one else can do. And that's why I've had Tyreek Hill number one. And people, can disagree with me, and that's fine, but try stopping him. And no one has been able to do it. That's where I'm at. I love the route runners. I love the hands catchers. I think route running is a beautiful art in football, and I cherish that in a wide receiver. But when you're that fast, you're just that fast. That's my only. When you're that fast, you can't be stopped. So that's why I have him number one. We'll get to the other three. So I'm surprised a little bit that Tyreek isn't in the top three for PY and obviously for you, Jake. So let's go. I will say my number 5. We're going to move forward. My number 5, just to round up that.
I'm curious.
So am I.
I hated putting him this low, but I have
Wow.
to. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
But if you look at what he did last year, just like look at the stats. So AJ Brown, we talked about 88 catches, 1,496 yards, 11 touchdowns. Jamar Chase last year, 87 catches, 1,046 yards, and 9 touchdowns. I think with Jamar Chase, in terms of ceiling and potential, I think he is a top 2, top 3 wide receiver in the league. I think what I need to see now in 2023 is him adjust to how defenses adjusted to him. Okay. Because that's what we saw. We saw last year, defenses now take away that deep ball of his, the explosive plays. And he struggled a little bit to adjust to that. He's got to now show that he can beat them the similar way that Tyreek Hill had to adjust his game. Several years ago, Tyreek Hill had to adjust to not being that deep threat anymore. And now he's excelled at it. I need to see Jamar Chase do the same thing. If he does in 2023, he will be a top 2, top 3. There's bona fide. He will be top 2, top 3. He will be over AJ Brown. He will be over at least one of the guys I have it, and I'll save it for where I have it. But he will be. He has that type of potential, but I need to see him improve and adjust to how defenses are attacking him. So I had Jamar Chase at 5. Pete, where do you have Jamar?
4.
Jake, where do you have Jamar?
Number 3.
Why?
3.
All right, so whoever, Jake, if you want to go because you're Mr. LSU, you have him at 3. Make your case make your rebuttal as to why you have him at 3, even though he had a down year last year.
He had it down, like obviously, like numbers wise, but you also have to take into account also he missed 4 weeks last year. So, hypothetically, let's space it off of averages. If he plays those 4 games, he probably has similar numbers to what he had last year. And you talk about potential, like you touched on earlier, Chuck. So he has the potential to be a top 2, 1, possibly one day wide receiver in the NFL. But year 3 is going to be a big year, and it's the same thing for a lot of these young wide receivers who are looking to get paid and that whole thing. So I think that's going to be a part of it also. But we know how good he was in college, and we saw how good he was his rookie year, and we saw how good he was last year. So I think he's just going to continue to build and get better because he's still really young, and he can only go up from here.
Pete, anything to add?
I mean, 4 games, it is what it is. I actually didn't have him ranked there. I had him ranked higher, and then I just couldn't pull myself to not do it. So obviously, I did a little switcheroo.
It was yeah.
But for Chase, and the reason I'll say specifically why I put him over Brown, I think Chase can do more than AJ as far as a route running standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's
I agree
more
with
versatile, more explosive than Cup, more explosive than Diggs. Younger, and like Chuck just said, heading into this season, he has another gear. His ceiling, I don't think we've seen the best of Jamar Chase, and what we've seen so far has been really, really, really good. I think he has 2 200-yard games under his belt.
Something like that.
I don't know. Yeah,
something like that.
But I mean, we'll see because I think this is the last year that he's going to have T. Higgins with him as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
If not this year, then next year definitely be a proven ground for him.
Yeah, it was tough for me. Chase and Brown were as close to each other than anyone like on my list. Like they were so close. I had initially Chase at a Brown, but then I looked at last year. I'm like, AJ stayed healthy last year and just AJ dominated. Like
yeah, he did.
I can't in good conscience. And maybe you can call me biased. I don't know, but like. If I'm gonna split hairs between the two, I can't in good conscience say that Chase had a better year than AJ Brown, and I do think Chase will eventually overtake him. But like right now, going into 2023, I can't. I think I would go AJ, but again, it's so close. It's so close.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have flip flopped him right before this show started, and that's how close it was. My number 3 then. Now it's going to get juicy because you guys we're talking about the top 2 guys. I obviously have my number 1 is going to be different from all of you. Mm-hmm. So, you know what, PY, you haven't talked in a little while. So, reveal your number 2.
Justin Jefferson.
Really? Okay.
Jake?
Numero uno. Number 1.
Justin Jefferson, number 1. Okay.
Number 1, yep.
Pete?
1 second.
Yeah,
1 moment.
Oh, 1 moment. Okay.
He's building suspense.
Stand by.
Stand by. What am I standing by over?
I think he's going to throw a curveball.
Yes.
Curveball.
I don't know what I'm waiting for.
Now I'm intrigued.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
now I'm intrigued.
It's dead air. It's dead air.
He's Issa.
Huh?
Issa.
Oh, number 1.
See?
Number 1.
Okay.
What was I waiting for? Like, what's...
I didn't know how to fucking say one in Filipino. You should be thankful.
Oh my god!
Speak Filipino.
Oh my god!
Speak English and Klingon.
I have him at 2.
Okay.
So if we're gonna fill in the rest, we're gonna have Davante Adams at 1 for PY.
Yes.
And then he is at 2 for you, Jake.
Correct.
Oops, sorry, hold on. He is at 2 also for you, Pete. And then he is at
Number 3 for you. Okay.
Yep. All right. Here's the question now, then, because I've made my case for Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it this way. First of all, what is your rebuttal to why you have both of these over? And if you can go, well, why do you have Davante and Justin Jefferson over Tyreek? First of all, that's the first part. So go ahead.
For me personally,
Anyone. Why?
well, just
why-
for me, it's the same thing. You know how high I've been on Davante. Davante's been my guy
Yeah. Yep.
over Tyreek. Chucks knows that.
Yeah.
My thing is, I think Justin Jefferson is the better, younger version of Davante right now. So hence why Davante's 31 going on 32.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? But that route running, those hands, those intricacies to get open, that still translates.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin J-Jet has already found out how to do that. And he's younger. And it's crazy to say, but once again, I don't think we've seen the best of him either.
No. Nope.
And it's crazy.
He's only a slot guy.
Fucking Doug and Howie.
Yeah.
Why do you have? So what is it again? Davante and Justin Jefferson over Tyreek.
I like Justin Jefferson a lot. I think he's elite. I think he's probably the next up in terms of the GOAT wide receiver of young guys. Like it's just Davante is just that guy. Like he is insane. Like everyone assumed that just because he left.
Why? I asked you why you have both of them over Tyreek Hill.
Oh, I like Tyreek, but I just like these guys better. I think they're more. I think while Tyreek Hill, like when he was with Mahomes, he was like that guy. He's still really good. I just don't think he's the same player. That's my opinion. I don't think he's as explosive of a playmaker as when he was in Kansas City.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Well, come again. Say what?
What?
It's fine.
I was waiting for you two to for the light bulb to click too. Like, what?
I heard it. I let it go.
It's fine.
PY, he had the most yards in 2022 than any other season.
That's fine.
That's fine. You really are gonna say that Tyreek Hill has lost a step?
I'm not gonna say he's lost a step. I think he's still an extremely good wide receiver. I just think the usage is different.
You just can we is there a rewind? Is there a rewind? Because he just said, like,
that's the drop of the week. Whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine. I don't care.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna move on because
Chuck's is triggered.
I love getting to him. It's so fun.
No, but you meant what you said.
Yeah, you definitely meant what you said.
I probably did.
You're easily backtracking.
No.
Okay, so PY, let's move on because now your Tyreek take is just bad.
That's okay.
So
I'll survive.
Again, resume what you were saying when you weren't listening. Again, why do you have Davante over Justin Jefferson?
I just think he's that guy. Like he went from having an MVP candidate player in Aaron Rodgers to having Derek Carr, and I don't think anyone thought he was going to have as good as a season. I think a lot of people probably thought he was going to have a down year, and he had the most touchdowns. He was still explosive. He was still good. He was still getting multiple touchdown games. The whole team was excuse my French, clusterfuck, but he still showed why he is that guy, why he is the best wide receiver in the game, why he makes those tough catches, he separates with guys, and he runs great routes. Like he's showing what he's done his entire career. Like he is Mr. Consistent. Like no matter what, he's still that guy. No matter who's the quarterback.
Okay. Jake and Pete, you guys can, you both agreed with each other. So why do you have Justin Jefferson over Davante? Well, Pete, you kind of already alluded to, but if you guys want to add, if you want to rebuttal, because PY is saying he's going with the with the older guy, Mr. Who he's the guy who's been at number one for a lot of people. He's still going with him. Well, why would you roll with Justin Jefferson now over Davante?
Just kind of like what Pete said earlier. As crazy as it sounds, I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. That's the crazy part. And let me just pull up the numbers real quick. Since he's come into the league, he has nearly 5,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. His rookie year, he had 1,400. 2021, he had 1,616. And then in 2022, he had 1,809, which is insane. And it just for how young he is, he's only 24. And damn it, Howie, and damn it, Jeff. But I mean, I'm fine with our receiving core now. But just to imagine him in this offense it's a
him and Smitty, bro.
Oh my god,
you don't get him. Like
you don't get Smitty.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get
you do. I think you do because I think they wanted to.
I think they had to take two.
You don't get AJ.
Yeah, you're probably right. You probably don't get AJ.
I don't know. It's really tough to say because it's one of those butterfly effect things.
Right.
Because if we take Justin Jefferson, a lot of things are different.
Yeah.
A lot of things go differently that season. So I don't know.
Does Carson
I
leave?
think you don't.
Wentz
I think
is
you
still
at
your quarterback.
you at least don't have one of them.
Right.
But it's very possible you don't have either of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that or not. But
Yeah.
it does.
So if you had Jefferson, this is just like just playing devil's advocate because that's basically what he's done in 3 years. Like he's one of the best wide receivers in the game. But imagine I told you had Justin Jefferson, and in those 3 years you miss the playoffs once, you don't win a playoff game, and in 3 years he has 45 playoff yards. That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like how would you be able to handle that as an Eagles fan?
Well, for one, we don't have Kirk Cousins as our quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying if that happened.
It wouldn't though.
It wouldn't happen.
Yeah. A totally different circumstance because you have.
Yeah, it's a completely different situation.
Well, that's
we're not living as in Tyreek Hill's best days are behind him because he's not playing in Kansas City.
I didn't say his best year. Oh, he's throwing shade. That hurts my heart.
Well done.
You're better than that. He's not off top, but you are.
Just said. You said what you said.
It's okay.
It's on live. We're going to.
That's fine. I don't care.
We have the receipts.
Please, I've said spicier things. It was just me and Jake.
I don't think what you just did is like almost like saying something bad to Chuck's, like you was saying bad about like Brian Westbrook is overrated or something. Like there's only very few things that you could say worse than talk bad about Tyreek Hill like that.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like
Chuck's
it's not even that, but like it's one of those takes where it's like it's easy. You can easily see that it's not the case. He literally he said Tyreek Hill isn't as explosive as he was before when he was in Kansas City, and you can easily see that is absolutely incorrect if you watch football. If you watch football, you see he's still as fast as he ever was. Like he hasn't lost any steps. So I don't know.
Oh, and they have who did the Dolphins pick up? The A-Chain.
Yeah,
Like,
they are a track.
They're a track team.
Insane.
They're a legit track team.
Oh my
There's
god!
no excuses for them this year. They should be a AFC Championship contending team.
They should be up there.
Well, I mean,
Depends on what their defense does.
Defense. There is an excuse called the defense.
I mean, Xavier Howard, Jalen
He's
Ramsey.
old as shit.
Yeah, Xavier's old.
Byron Jones isn't even in the league anymore.
Yeah.
Since he said he can't even run anymore, apparently.
Well, remember that was Howie's guy. Like that was he wanted
Dallas. Didn't he say Dallas fucked him up?
Or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas screwed him.
Dallas screwed him up, which I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, but it sucks. I think it's Yeah, there are excuses for. I mean, I wouldn't say the Dolphins are one of the most talented teams in the whole league. I wouldn't say they're like clear-cut Super Bowl contenders. So you can't use the no excuses thing there, Pete.
And it's all dependent on if Tua can stay healthy. That's the big thing. If he has I think one more bad concussion like he had this past year, I don't know how long or how much longer rather he's got, because if he keeps going,
gotta prove me right, man.
Yeah,
Brady gonna come out of retirement, bitch. Watch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What to be?
Go ahead.
What? Pete, finish the thought.
I'm like, what? You think he's coming out of retirement to?
If Tua goes down,
Tom Brady.
So is he? So question. God. So remember, he's a partial owner of the Raiders now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be a partial owner of another team and play for them?
He can sell it to somebody else and then still operate it.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know what the rules are, so that's why
there are no rules when we had that much money, sir.
I mean, there are guidelines for a reason.
I don't know.
You think old boy Agent Orange he ain't about to do no time? He got indicted with 37 counts.
Oh, he gonna be away for a while, so I ain't.
They did that shit so he can't run next year. That's all.
That's the whole thing. He's not actually gonna go anywhere. Yeah, he's not actually gonna go anywhere.
Landlord, so good job with the rankings, except for of course, except for PY.
You're so mean to me.
Landlord, I want to address this comment. Landlord from Wakanda says AJ Brown a 1-year wonder against a cupcake schedule till proven otherwise. So
when he had 2,000 yards,
tell me you haven't watched AJ Brown play before this past season.
Yeah, right.
Tell me you haven't watched AJ Brown play before the season. The 1-year wonder. That's so funny. All right, good job again, guys. Next week, it's going to be insane because we take this now. And we say, hey, who's the top since 2000? So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be even bigger mess.
Yeah.
Top since 2000, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a bigger.
That's a tough list. That's tough.
I can't wait for the.
I already know who my number. I think I know who my number one is already.
I know who. Yeah, I know who my number one is, but
he's not who you think he would be.
Oh, of course,
it never is with you. Yeah. There's always someone.
So there's this. Kayvon asks a question. Chuck, since you're a running back guy, how would you describe Reggie Bush's career?
Underwhelming.
Overhyped.
Yeah, yeah.
Overhyped. Reggie Bush was able to do what he did in college because it's college, and he was one of the best college players we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the NFL, you have to be able to do more than that. I think a lot of my issues with Reggie Bush were that people expected him to be something he's not. He always had issues running between the tackles. Talk about someone who just ran to daylight, right? He's just a space runner. But in terms of vision, it really wasn't that good. Like, he improved it. I think he had that, was it 1 year or a couple years with Miami, where he actually did improve his vision. But by that time, he's not the same Reggie Bush.
Right.
His prime will always be as someone who was a space player, a little bit ahead of his time, but
definitely
not as much. And I think that, and I'm really not trying to be joking with this, but I think Brian Westbrook was what people hoped Reggie Bush would be in terms of the type of player.
Yep.
Brian Westbrook, and I sent you that clip of the Athletic podcast from last week, where Nate Tice and Robert Mays talked about Brian Westbrook, that multi-dimensional tool that was as much of a receiving threat as he was a running threat. I think that Reggie Bush, people expected Reggie Bush to be that, because he was a phenomenal receiver, right? He was amazing out in space, a good receiver. But that vision was always lacking. However, that was never an issue with Westbrook. Yeah. He didn't have that vision to be disciplined and say, hey, I'm going to get tough yards. Hey, I'm going to manipulate the linebackers. And we saw that. And that's why he had the career he did. I make fun of him. I always say Reggie bust. He wasn't a bust. I'm never gonna say.
He had a solid career.
In truth, he wasn't a bust.
No.
But the expectations, when you think about that, he was overhyped. So that's how I would portray it. Yeah, that's how I would say his career.
10
I don't
years,
know if anyone else wants to
5,000
add
yards.
to it. Huh?
It's like 10 years, 5,000 yards. It's not awful. Like I wouldn't. There's so many worse running backs. Like I think Bush was probably like taken way, way, way too high coming out of the what the hell is his team? I can't remember off the top.
USC Trojans.
Yes, that's it. I'm sorry.
He didn't have no Trojans on in the videotape, but
No, he did not.
No. Philly Sports says Randy Moss is one, and that should be a spoiler.
that's I wanted to. So the list, are we doing if they were playing in the year 2000, or did they have to? Or is it like they were drafted in 2000 and then on?
I'm gonna frame it. We'll frame it the same way we did with quarterbacks. Who would you build your franchise around?
Okay.
2000.
Yeah. Well, not just in 2000. Like, if you were to start a franchise, you can frame it whatever. If you were to start a franchise and you build your team your way, who would you take? So you can say, like, you
So
can even
question.
say, yeah, go ahead.
Because he still played in the early 2000s.
You're not.
I know where
talking
you're
Jerry
going.
Rice.
Yeah, I know where
What?
you're going.
Am I about to use Jerry Rice?
Would you want to build a
2000
team around a 15-year vet, Jerry Rice?
I'm just saying he played in the 2000s. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but you're not getting
2000
90s Rice.
Yeah. Again, 90s.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
2000.
nice still.
Yeah, Marquise to also add Megatron, Moss, Tio, Larry, top 4, then 5 and 6.
So good.
Probably between Brown and Julio, but they are top 6. 2000 wide receivers. I'll put Johnson at 7. That's top 2000. I have a lot to say about that.
There's
I have a lot to say about that, but anyways, no huddle, gentlemen. Do you want me to get into it now then to lead off?
Sure.
Someone saw the Flash movie today.
All right, you get to it before I get to bed.
Okay. So do you want me to just say a little bit of it, Pete? Like, because I know you
Just
don't want
say if you like the movie.
Whatever's on your heart, sir.
I like the movie.
Without remember, you
There you
said no.
go.
You said no
So
serious
hard.
spoilers.
Yeah, no serious spoilers. I absolutely like the movie. I think that I wrote notes down so I wouldn't forget. So give me a second. We are the one show that does take notes, so you remember that for all the A2D listeners. I'll start off with the bad because I like ending with the good. Start with the bad. I think that my main thing, and this is not a spoiler because we all seen it, we know it, based on the trailers. If you remember if you know the comic book arc, if you're familiar, if you watch the animated Flashpoint Paradox, you know how grand scheme this arc is. This is like this is a huge altering arc in the comics. Like, it's
Is that what they use? They use FPP.
wait, what's going on?
I don't want to say it, but is it FPP? Just a
Flash?
yeah.
Yeah, it's based off that. I thought that was
Okay.
yeah. That's like, I thought it was common sense because
Yeah, I thought everyone knew this.
I figured it was, but
okay. Oh yeah. So it's if you're basing off of that, my main gripe, which I can understand, but it's similar to Civil War in MCU, how Civil War in the comics was this huge arc that involved so many characters, right? But in the MCU, amazing story, arguably the best or maybe top 2 MCU film for me, but like the grand scheme of the arc wasn't as huge as the comic arc. And I think that's what gets me with this is it's not as massive and inclusive as the original comic arc is. Like, you don't get as much of an impact. You don't have as many DC characters in this as you should. And I think that's what it always, as someone who's read the comic arc, someone who knows the story well, it's hard not to compare. All right. So I'll say that's what kind of bothered me. But some other things is like, and this is similar to other DC films and property. Like their CGI still is a little weird at times.
Okay, that's
Like it's it's weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's just odd. Like the CGI models don't look accurate from one frame to another. It just it looks weird. I think there are some issues with some of the actors, how they portrayed their characters. A couple of them I can't buy into it.
Okay.
And I think the pacing in the second act was a little bit off. Because I found myself like in the second act, I'm like, okay, like move on. Like come on. Next scene, move on. So like that's what I found issue with it. But I think with good though, I think to piggyback off of my first con from the movie, I think with what they had to work with and making it their own portrayal, they did a very good job with this story. They took what they could work with and did the best that they could, and it is still a good story that captures the essence of Flashpoint Paradox. The essence of that arc is still there. You know what I mean? It's in its heart and soul. It's still in the movie. I think that's very important. There are, and the last thing I'll say, which is awesome, this movie, and this is why I reacted in the way I did in the chat when I said, "Oh my god." There's so much fan service. It is.
I figured
so much fan service in this movie. You're going, especially toward the end, you're going to laugh and you're going to be like, "Holy crap!" Like, especially if you know history of DC in TV and in movies, you're going to be like, "Oh shoot!" You know what I mean? So there's a lot of fan service, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a good way, in a very, very good way. It's a very fun movie. Will I say it's great? I won't say it's a great movie. I think I'd put it at like a 7. I think I put it at like a 7.5 out of 10. And
so
to me,
it's good.
That's
Okay.
good. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I enjoyed it. And I'd be lying if I said that like the nostalgia factor with Michael Keaton didn't have a great influence. It does, and like it just really does. What he does in this movie, it really, it's like it hits home. And it's if like I remember as a kid watching that movie over and over to the point where the VHS broke. Like my VHS of the Batman movie broke because I watched it so many times.
Let's get nuts.
So like, yeah, I'd be lying if I said that didn't have great influence. But if you grew up on that movie and you loved Michael Keaton as Batman, you're gonna freaking love him in this movie. You're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. So, yeah, my spoiler-free review.
I have a very important question.
Yeah.
There's multiple Batmen in this movie that we know of. Is there a Bat credit card?
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
That's a very important question, though.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah. The Bat credit card. God.
Martian says CGI from the trailer don't look good, but I'll still watch it. Philly Sports says also I think there's too much humor for my taste. Batman should not have funny moments, but that's just me. I'll say this, Philly Sports. I hear you, but it's not a Batman movie.
Batman has always had humor. I don't know what to tell you there, pal.
But I hear what he's saying, but you got to keep in mind what movie it is. It's a Flash movie. It's not Batman. So that's where I will counter him with. And so like
that's where I think the Christian Bale Batman and Christopher Nolan has just such a serious Batman. But before that, I mean, listen, let's just go in large film. Let's just go back and look at fucking when George Clooney played Batman. Like that was nothing but jokes and shit.
You need to find a nice middle ground, though. Like it can't be too serious, but it also can't be George Clooney Batman.
Right.
Like Batman is a serious character, but he's also a character who a lot of times can find the humor in things.
I'll still always remember when you say that. I still always remember in Justice League Unlimited. I forget what season. They're all in a battle, and I remember Batman falling from a ship that exploded, or like one of the planes that exploded.
I'm the only one
He
who
was
can't
just
fly.
falling. He's just falling. Yeah, you know about that. He's just falling, and he's just like, "Yeah, I can't fly." Whoever was like, I forget what it's called, but it was hilarious. So
I like the one where he's I don't remember if it's Unlimited, where there's a villain who's like attacking him in his sleep, and he like just drives to like a Starbucks and he's just like, "Give me all your coffee."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want to rewatch Justice League.
It's so good.
It's so
I'm not the biggest Justice League guy.
So good.
oh my god.
I prefer Batman Beyond. That's just me.
But yeah, I'm not gonna get into that comment. But yeah, you guys, what you guys got?
I'm going to see Flash tomorrow.
I'll probably see it tomorrow.
I'll probably see it again on Sunday too, because I'm going to celebrate my grandfather's 97th birthday on Saturday. So
Oh shit, there you go.
yeah, right. He looks younger than Tom Coughlin. That's the crazy part. I bring it up all the time because Coughlin's 40 years younger than him, and he looks older.
Oh my god.
Kaufman's always looked old though.
Yep.
Even when he was young, he looked old.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, congrats to the Vegas Knights and congrats to the Denver Nuggets. I didn't hate the results. I don't know if you guys did. You guys agree or disagree? I don't follow basketball as much, and I know that there's always a debate like, oh, Joel Embiid or Jokic. Like, I don't know. I don't have ill will toward Jokic. I think Jokic is a phenomenal basketball player.
He's great, yeah.
It is, but it's the team itself, man. That's it's not.
Yeah, the team is really good.
Give Joel a guy like Jamal Murray. Let's see what happens there.
Yeah. But again, I'm not taking away from Jokic because I think I know some
What
big
the
fans are
shit?
trying to take away, but
What?
Al Pacino just had another kid at the age
Yeah,
of
he had his fourth
Oh,
kid.
you didn't hear about that? Yeah.
the fuck?
You know where they're going to take him? Dunkachino.
God.
oh,
He's
God.
83 and he's just had a kid. Good for him. And you
That
know what?
baby's gonna
I think the mom's like 20 something.
29.
That baby's going to have
just-
so many issues.
Oh,
He's older than her, bro.
she just got the bag. Good for her.
Oh my God.
She just got the bag.
I can't. All right.
The bag. Six.
Okay. Cool. Anything else, guys, that you got?
Now, did we hear Chris Sims apologize or no?
No,
Oh, I haven't been listening.
No.
I haven't
no,
been
because he's a bitch.
He's not gonna apologize.
And NBC hasn't done anything apparently because he's still making thing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know, I
surprised they
haven't-
didn't do anything with that. That's interesting.
yeah, I haven't listened to any of his pods since. And I go on these things where if he pisses me off, I won't listen to him for like months. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
yeah.
Outside of that, man, I have
Good.
people go see Transformers. It wasn't as bad as people say it is.
It's fun.
I heard it's good.
It's an enjoyable Transformers movie. Yeah.
Pete Davidson is surprisingly good in that movie. I wasn't sure what to expect from him.
Who does
The
who does he voice?
soundtrack is cool. Just
Mm.
one little tidbit about the soundtrack, because Hypnotized did not come out nowhere near 94. That was 1997. So
My one complaint is that the main character didn't scream Bumblebee at least once. It's gonna knock it down a few pegs in my list.
Oh, that sucks. I'm not gonna see it anymore then. Damn it.
Darn.
Darn it. Oh gosh, darn.
Shoot.
I think it elevated other Autobots outside of the ones we've already seen.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
You mean there's Autobots not named Optimus Prime and Bumblebee?
Well, it seems like it's not, because they're the only ones who last. I mean, you just go through the list. Jazz got killed off.
Josh got killed off way too easily.
Ratchet.
I want a piece. No.
I want to.
I want to.
Well, to be fair, like these are all like the Transformers who died in the 86 movie.
I will admit, back all those years ago when that movie came out, I was dying laughing when that happened. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's how he goes. I'm like, that's how Jazz goes.
I was so pissed in that movie. Like,
What, you mean when he gets killed by Sentinel Prime?
No, that's Dark Side of the Moon.
No, that's the second one. The first one, I hated because in every fight scene between Megatron and Prime, Prime's getting his butt kicked. Like,
Well, he has to say exposition from the 86 movie.
He got his butt kicked in the second one too, though.
He died.
No, but he was no. The second
Right.
one, Prime was handing it to Megatron, and then I forget what it was, but like Prime got like blindsided, and that's why he died.
It was the sword, and he got blinded by the
he
sun.
got blindsided,
Mhm.
but he was handing it to Megatron. He was giving him.
If you think about it, if you go back and look at the cartoon and all the different animations, no one was bigger than Prime.
yeah,
No.
Prime
I'm
was.
not talking like from a leader, like as far as size.
Yeah,
He was a
Yeah.
Prime. He was bigger than Megatron. So that's Michael Bay for you. Now this one, whenever you watch it, by the end of the movie, he and his Optimus Prime back. By the end, by the
Who's the director for this one?
Stephen Caple, the one who he directed Creed 2.
Me too. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Who was the director for Bumblebee?
Jesus.
It wasn't Michael Bay. I'll tell you
I
that.
know. That's what I'm
Because it was
saying, like,
good. That's how you know it was good.
all these Transformers movies that Michael Bay hasn't directed, you can
Travis
tell
Knight.
they've been pretty good.
Yeah, that's because there's explosions aren't coming out of boobs every 2
Yeah.
seconds.
And the CGI for the Transformers isn't like hard to like the way he does his CGI. You can't make out what's going on in the fight
Yeah.
scenes. You're like,
But this
What?
one here, like you can see the intricate details and everything looks weathered. Like none of them look brand fucking new. I think the 07 movie, the first one, was just visually so overwhelming that because you never thought you would get a live action Transformers movie. Like you never thought that would happen. I mean, I still remember it like yesterday. That whole scene when they're at the Hoover Dam and they start to roll out, and then you just see them all, and it's Optimus, Ironhide, I think it was Jazz at the time, and they're just rolling, and then fucking B and Shia LaBeouf is going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And stop, turn around, like that whole shit, bro. It's just.
memories, man.
But it's but these ones are getting back to where you got the human element, but it's not the overarching. It doesn't take over the whole movie. Like it's more about them, and it's very simplistic.
Good.
Like Bumblebee was. Bumblebee got found out by Starscream, and I forget the other Decepticon in that movie, but it was very simple. It was like this is bigger, still simple. It wasn't like I gotta go to the fucking moon and the moon does this and I climb
I gotta
the pyramids in Egypt or something.
Yeah.
Like, even the first one, if you think about the first one, the very first one in 07, it was about the Allspark. It was very simple. One thing, you didn't have to go through all this other shit to where 2 and 3 just literally lost their way. Age of Extinction. Don't even get me fucking started.
I didn't even bother watching it. I never
Don't even
watched
get me
it.
started on that one. And then the last night, still kind of like just it's just too much. You don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
You don't. You really don't.
And it's Martian says Miles Morales. I will say this, and now I can say this with PY here. I think Across the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie of all time.
Really?
No.
In my opinion.
I think it's amazing, but I won't go there.
That's
Isn't this the last one with Miles too? I was saying.
No,
No,
not anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
a
Don't
trilogy.
spoil it for him.
It's no spoilers. Everyone knows it's a trilogy.
No, I was seeing like mixed things on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, this is probably the last one with
No, it's
the voice actor."
It's saying Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be.
You have to, dude. Listen,
so good.
Yeah.
it's so.
Martian agrees with you. Martian
Pete,
agrees.
did you like the ending without giving spoilers?
Fucking loved it. I'm looking.
I heard some people.
I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, okay. I'm looking at my watch. I know what the runtime is. I'm looking at my watch. I know what the runtime is. I was like, at some point we got to wrap this shit up, bitch. Like, what are we doing?
So I didn't have any issues with it. I just saw people complaining, so I was curious your thoughts.
Because they're so used to getting resolution
Yeah.
in one city. I kind of knew where we were going once everything happened. I knew you got like, bro. And the Jordans that they coming out with for this fucking next one, black and purple with the stash pack, bro.
I just want to know, where was my Clone High reference in this movie? I felt a little naked.
Bro.
Era.
I can't wait to see it when it comes out on streaming. Yay!
Yeah, same.
Life of a
Bro.
Dad. Life of a Dad.
Life of a Dad.
Life of a Dad.
Just go at 3:00 again.
I have to get my mom to babysit. So
Yeah.
Just don't tell. Is Mary behind you?
no, she's
Just
in
don't.
there.
Just. I got a long lunch, babe.
I got a long
I got a
lunch.
3-hour
long
lunch.
3-hour lunch. 3-hour lunch. Exactly.
I thought about going to see it tomorrow morning, the Flash tomorrow morning, and I'm like, God damn it, it's like 2.5 hours, so it's like 3 hours. And I'm like, there's no way I'd make it to work.
Well, the rain is supposed to be shitty tomorrow after like 11.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm like, okay, at that point, it'd be worth it to go see it. Probably catch a matinee with the family.
Yeah.
I get cheap. I found out I get cheap movie tickets like $8, $9
For what?
Not bad.
to
Well,
work.
AMC still has like it was like $5 tickets on Tuesdays.
Yep.
$5 Tuesdays.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the ones I've been to outside of the like IMAX and all that shit, that the Cinemark over there by Pete.
Yes, that is my favorite theater.
It's a different feel. It's like an old school,
Yes.
and it's like like, bro, I heard they had
The Cinemark where?
In Summerdale.
And like it's
I've been the old
It's
school.
cheap.
Yeah.
It's affordable. The food's not expensive. The tickets aren't expensive. The people who are there are just great. And you know what? It just doesn't feel like it's run by a bunch of douchebags. Like that's literally why I don't like.
Is it like a big theater, small
No,
theater?
it is a big size theater, but it's not like a big name theater like AMC.
right.
Okay.
It's literally
Like it doesn't feel like a corporate place.
It's recessed from everything else. Like
Oh,
you literally,
okay.
it's like you're walking into you were walking to a mall and you're like, oh, what the fuck? There's a movie theater back here.
So when AMC was losing all of their money, Cinemark was making bank because Cinemark cut all their prices in half. They cut their food prices in half, and they released a bunch of old movies for $5 that you could go see.
Oh, cool.
Jurassic.
You know, I haven't been there.
I like that.
I ended up seeing Jurassic Park, Empire Strikes Back. I saw
cool.
Jedi there recently. They had Return of the King.
Nice.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It's a good theater.
That's an all fucking day affair.
That
It is.
Return of the King. Yeah, that's an all.
Well, no, and it was the extended edition.
Oh Jesus! So that's like almost 5 hours. That's almost like 5 hours.
Right?
That's
You
almost
definitely
5
have to
hours.
take a bathroom break.
You clocked in, bitch.
They
Yeah,
also
I'm
have
telling you.
things to where you can rent out the whole theater for the day, like a
Yeah,
whole.
I know the theaters do that. Yeah, I gotta go to Cinemark again. It's been
So
so
good.
long since I've been there. It's such a good theater.
Wish there was one.
I
near
miss
me.
that theater.
I
Isn't
drive
that
20
that
minutes.
branch you've been going to?
Huh?
Isn't that up there where that branch you've been going to?
Yeah, right down the street. After work, I'm here late. 3 hours later. All right, guys. Good show. Wide receiver rankings are in the books. Next week, we should continue the conversation, like you said. But for any of those who are still listening, we greatly appreciate you tuning in, being part of the conversation. Thank you to our sponsors, especially our main show sponsor, Baggio's Bread. Make sure you mention A2D for 10% off your entire order. We've got shows all throughout A2D, all throughout the week, so make sure you continue to tune in and catch them. It's a great lineup, especially on Thursdays, A2D Football Thursdays. We've got so many new shows before you get to us. So make sure you check them out, show your support. For myself, for OG Pete, for PY, and for Jake, we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Until then, God bless. We love you. Peace out.